I'm Summer Hammonds with hammondsnest.com, and you're watching Hometalk.
First, we're going to repurpose a 1-gallon glass pickle jar. So that's kind of free, right? And then we have some decorative nautical rope, a couple packages that I picked up at the dollar store. So that's just a couple dollars worth of rope. That is our main supplies that we're going to use. So I'm just going to kind of show you how I put this one together. I'm measuring out vertical strips. I'm going to end up cutting 8 of these. They're going to be 11 inches long. Now, once I get all of my strips cut to the 11 inches, I'm going to start using my glue gun to attach them on the side of the jar. Now, this jar in particular, I want to point out, you can usually see on any glass jar, there's a seam. And I'm going to start with that seam, just so I know that I have a line to go, and it will help my eye as I'm laying out and trying to keep everything very even looking. So I'm going to take I'll try this a couple different ways. I did the long run of glue and glued it on. And then when I show you of the next one that I'm going to glue on, you're going to see I kind of went at it a little differently. Sometimes whenever you're working on these projects, you kind of get a feel for what works best. And sometimes that hot glue can start to set up on you quicker than you'd like. So, give it a try and see what works best for you. For this second time, now I'm going on the very opposite side where the other seam is. And I'm going to just put a little glue at the top and then work my way down in sections of hot glue. Now, I really liked this approach much better, and so I did that for all the rest of the strips by the time I got all the 8 strips on. And all I'm doing is I'm evenly spacing these out. So you see these two are opposite from one another, and then I'll go in the middle of those sections and put a piece of rope, and then I'll do that, continue on until all 8 are glued on. And then at the bottom, if any of your rope is fraying or anything, you can go ahead and get that glued down. If you'll notice the little pink things I have on my fingers, if you've never seen those before, they're just silicone finger protectors, and they're really great for when you're trying to work really closely with hot glue. It can save your fingers some little burns there. And while I'm saying that, I'm going to go ahead and say that this particular craft was actually inspired by a fellow home talker, Hinda Afudaman, who did use yarn to lay out the design on her pickle jar. And so I want to give a little shout out to her. And like anybody can see an idea and put your own spin on it. And I hope that y'all are feeling inspired by this one so far. So let's keep creating. We've got all of our 8 strips put on here. And we're going to move on and we're going to measure around the jar. We're going to need 2 long strips there. And those ended up being 22 inches long. So I have 2 of those. Again, you have the ability to kind of create whatever you like design-wise. I decided to keep it even more simple and just do 1 on the top and then glue 1 around the bottom. And then for the last step, just to give it a finished look, I'm opting to cut 3 15-inch strips to give a finished look to the rim of the jar. And I think it looks nice, and I'm just going to start somewhere and kind of glue in a few places as I'm wrapping around. And then I'll glue the other 2, and it ended up being a stack of 3. And so there it is, kind of finished. I'm putting the finishing touches on it. Now at this point, there's also another option. You could add like a handle or something like that. I decided to keep it pretty simple. I'm going to show you kind of how I styled it too. So I have a wooden little charger, a cute little vintage jar, and a pretty little bright blue pop of floral. I put in some sand from the dollar store and a flameless LED candle. And then I grabbed a few seashells and driftwood pieces from our trips to the beach and cute little sign, and I think it's all sweet. So because this jar is so neutral, it would look good staged and styled for many different seasons. I hope you enjoyed seeing this one come together, as I always enjoy showing you. Again, I'm Summer with hammondsnest.com. Thanks for watching me on Hometalk.